Life has a way of shifting beneath our feet. Sometimes, without warning, we lose people, opportunities, time, or even parts of ourselves. But today, I want to remind you of a sacred truth. Nothing is ever truly lost in the heart of the divine. What feels broken, gone, or wasted will be restored, not always in the same form, but always in a higher way. God is not the author of your loss. God is the healer of it. You may have gone through seasons in your life where everything felt like it was falling apart. Maybe someone you loved deeply walked away. Maybe you lost a job that you poured your heart into. Perhaps you watched a dream you held close slip through your fingers, no matter how tightly you tried to hold on. In those moments, it's easy to begin defining yourself by what went wrong. You look in the mirror and see only the reflection of pain, disappointment, and things you could not control. But the truth is this: you are not what you have lost. You are not your heartbreak. You are not your failure. You are not your past. Loss may have shaped some of your experiences, but it does not shape your identity. You are so much more than any moment of sorrow, and the essence of who you are cannot be taken away by anything or anyone. There's a quiet strength within you that has carried you through everything you've survived. It may not always be loud, and you may not always feel it, but it is there, guiding you, holding you, and reminding you that you're still here. You are still breathing, still waking up each day, still finding reasons to carry on. That is not weakness, that is courage in its purest form. We often think of loss as the end of something, and in many ways it is. But endings are never the whole story. Every ending is a doorway to something new, a place of transformation. And while it may not feel like it in the moment, what is taken from your life is often making room for something far more aligned with who you're becoming. You may have lost someone, but you gained clarity. You may have walked away from something, but you reclaimed your worth. You may have been broken, but that break allowed the light to enter. Life does not define you by your darkest seasons. Life defines you by how you rise, how you learn, how you open your heart again, and most importantly, how you begin to see yourself not as damaged or lost, but as evolving. Every tear you cried was sacred. Every time you stood back up, even when your legs trembled beneath you, was an act of divine bravery. Even if the world couldn't see what you were going through, your soul knows, and your soul honors every step you've taken, even the ones that felt like crawling. There is no shame in having suffered. There is no shame in feeling like you were lost for a while. What matters is that you did not give up on yourself, even when you weren't sure where to go next. But today, let yourself release the belief that your worth is tied to what you no longer have. Let go of the idea that your future is limited by your past. And most importantly, forgive yourself for the times when you didn't know better, for the moments when you stayed too long, believed too much, or gave your heart to the wrong things. Those experiences were part of your journey, not the end of it. You are not here by accident. The same force that holds the stars in the sky is holding you. And that force, that divine presence, never sees you as broken. It sees you as growing. It sees you as capable. It sees you as worthy of restoration, of peace, of abundance, and of love that fills every corner of your being. Begin to speak gently to yourself again. Look into the mirror and say, I am not defined by what I have lost. I am defined by all that I am becoming. Say it until your heart believes it. Say it until the story of pain fades into the background and the truth of your strength rises to the surface. Let today be a turning point. A moment where you take your power back from every person, every memory, every disappointment that ever tried to convince you that you were less than whole. You are not incomplete. You are not behind. You are exactly where you are meant to be, and everything that left you has only cleared the path for what's coming. Story. Loss is not the final word in your story. It is a comma, not a period. And as long as you keep showing up for yourself, with love, with patience, and with hope, everything that is truly yours will begin to find its way. You are still blooming, still unfolding, still discovering the parts of yourself that no loss could ever touch. You are not your past. You are not what you have lost. You are a soul in motion, a heart in healing, a spirit on the path to greater joy. And the best chapters of your life have yet to be written. Restoration does not begin outside of you, it begins within. Before life can hand you back what you thought was lost, before the broken pieces can rearrange themselves into something beautiful again, there must be a quiet decision within your heart. The decision to believe. Belief is the seed of every miracle. Without it, even the most abundant blessings will pass you by. With it, even in the emptiest, darkest seasons, light begins to rise. Not because everything has changed, but because you have changed. You've shifted from despair to hope, from confusion to clarity, from fear to faith. You do not have to know how restoration will happen. You do not have to map out every detail or figure out every answer. That's not your job. Your only task is to believe that restoration is not only possible, it is promised. When you truly believe, you give the divine permission to work in your life in ways beyond your understanding. You become open, receptive, ready. For a long time, you may have carried disbelief like a shield. Maybe you stopped expecting good things because you were tired of being disappointed. Maybe you hardened your heart because the pain felt easier than the hope. Maybe you convinced yourself that life had already given you its best and that you had missed it. But none of that is true. Disbelief may protect you from momentary disappointment, but it also blocks you from receiving joy. It closes the door just as the answer is about to knock. It silences your inner voice that still dares to dream. But when you shift into belief, even just a little, everything around you begins to soften. The air feels lighter. Your heart beats with purpose, and the universe, ever responsive to your energy, begins to respond. You don't need a perfect faith. You don't need to feel certain every single day. Belief is not about being flawless. It's about being willing. Willing to see things differently. Willing to imagine that maybe, just maybe, something good is on its way. Willing to trust that the same power that created the stars hasn't forgotten about you. That willingness opens doors. Doors that logic cannot open. Doors that were shut for years. Doors that no man, no mistake, and no circumstance can keep locked forever. And it all begins when you whisper to yourself, I am ready to receive. I am worthy of restoration. I choose to believe again. Affirm this belief with your words, because your words are powerful tools of creation. Every time you say, I don't think it will happen, you push your blessings further away. But every time you say, I trust that life is working for me, you pull those blessings closer. Speak life over your future. Speak healing over your heart. Speak abundance over your path. There's a current of grace flowing through your life right now. You may not see it, but it is there. Subtle, steady, unstoppable. That grace is always moving toward healing, toward wholeness, toward peace. But it can only meet you where you believe. It responds to your inner truth, not your outer circumstances. That means you can be standing in the middle of ruins and still feel restoration beginning in your soul. It means that even when nothing has changed around you, something has already shifted within you. That shift is everything, because once you believe you are worthy of restoration, you will stop settling for things that break you. Once you believe you deserve healing, you will stop clinging to what hurts. Once you believe better is possible, you will make space for it to arrive. You are not too far gone. You are not too broken. It is never too late to begin again. Whatever was taken from you, whether it was love, peace, confidence, or time, can be restored in ways you never imagined. But you must believe it. You must feed that belief every single day with kindness, with faith, and with trust. Start small. Speak a new affirmation each morning. Write down your vision. Sit quietly and imagine what your life would look like if restoration was already happening. Feel it in your body. Let it become familiar. Because what you rehearse in your mind, you eventually experience in your reality. You are not powerless. You are not forgotten. You are a co-creator of your life, and belief is your most sacred tool. Let it carry you forward. Let it lift you out of fear. Let it guide you back to the truth that everything you have lost can be transformed, renewed, and restored. Not because of who you were, but because of who you are becoming. And it all begins with belief. There are moments when you feel as though life has forgotten you. You've waited, prayed, hoped, and done everything right, and yet nothing seems to move. Doors stay closed. Silence lingers where you expected answers, and time feels like a slow echo, stretching your patience to the edge. In those moments, it's tempting to think that maybe what you want will never come, or that maybe God has passed you by. But the truth is far gentler than your fears suggest. The truth is this: God's timing is never early and never late. It is perfect, flawless, guided by wisdom greater than yours. It is not rushed by your fear nor delayed by your doubt. It unfolds in the exact rhythm your soul needs in order to grow, transform, and receive what's meant for you in its highest, most complete form. Sometimes what feels like a delay is really divine protection. The things you begged to happen didn't happen because something better was being prepared for you. That closed door wasn't a punishment, it was a redirection. That unanswered prayer wasn't silence, it was preparation. And what looked like rejection was actually realignment. You may not have understood it then, but one day you will look back and whisper, "Thank you for what didn't go your way." You see, God sees beyond the surface. You may see what looks good now, but God sees what will still be good 5 years from now. You may think you're ready, but He sees the pieces of your heart that are still healing, the strength you still need to build, and the lessons you've yet to learn. It's not a denial, it's a divine delay meant to protect the beauty of what's coming. Because when the time is right, not only will the opportunity appear, but you will be ready to receive it fully, with open hands and a mature heart. While you wait, trust is your companion. Not passive trust, but a trust that breathes faith into your daily choices. It's the kind of trust that says, even though I can't see the outcome, I know it's being prepared. Even though I feel uncertain, I believe something greater is working behind the scenes. This trust will carry you when your logic tries to take over, when your emotions get heavy, and when your patience wears thin. And during this sacred waiting, you're not being punished, you're being polished. You are learning to hear your own soul more clearly. You're being invited into a deeper relationship with yourself and the divine. You're discovering that your worth is not measured by speed or success, but by your ability to stay centered and hopeful, even when things are unclear. The universe is not random. It is intentional. Every delay has a purpose. Every silence has meaning. Sometimes it's not about receiving something right away, but about becoming the kind of person who can hold what's coming with gratitude, wisdom, and grace. You're not just waiting for a blessing, you're becoming the version of yourself who can carry it well. Remember, seasons change. What is still and quiet today can be overflowing tomorrow. What is uncertain now can become clear in an instant. God does not forget. He does not overlook. And when the time comes, the blessing will arrive so effortlessly, you won't have to force it. You won't have to chase. You'll simply find yourself aligned, ready, and at peace. Until that day arrives, let your life be an offering of faith. Wake up each morning with a heart that says, I may not know when, but I know it will happen. Speak kindly to yourself. Release the need to control. Practice gratitude not because everything is perfect, but because you trust that everything is unfolding in perfect time. This is the power of surrender. You were never meant to carry the timeline alone. You were never meant to force doors open or question every twist and turn. You were meant to trust that everything happening in your life is either a step forward or a setup for something even better. And no time spent waiting in faith is ever wasted. So, if your heart feels weary, rest in the truth that what is for you cannot be taken from you. It will come, not a moment too soon and not a second too late. You won't miss it. You won't be forgotten. And when it arrives, it will feel like peace. It will feel like home. And you understand why it had to take the time that it did. Let go of the rush. Release the timeline. Embrace the now, because God's timing is not just perfect, it's sacred, and it's working for you even when you cannot see it. Sometimes it feels like everything around you is standing still. You wake up and the scenery hasn't changed. The people around you seem to move forward while you remain where you are, waiting, hoping, holding on. It can be discouraging. It can feel as if nothing new will ever come. But just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't happening. Just because the door hasn't opened in front of you doesn't mean it hasn't already begun to swing open behind the scenes. Life is always in motion. The universe is never stagnant. Energy is shifting. Circumstances are evolving. People are being moved. Conversations are being prepared. Opportunities are aligning, even if none of it has yet shown up in your visible world. You don't have to see it to believe it. You don't have to have proof to trust the process. New doors are opening quietly and divinely right now. What's required of you in this moment is faith. Not blind, desperate hope, but grounded, peaceful faith. The kind of faith that comes from knowing that you are supported, loved, and guided by a power far greater than your own understanding. That even when nothing seems to be changing, everything is changing in perfect timing. The moment you are in now, it is sacred. It is not a mistake or a punishment. It is preparation, the waiting, the stillness, the silence. It's building you. It's softening the parts of you that once tried to control everything. It's strengthening the muscles of your soul to hold more light, more truth, more abundance. You are not stuck. You are not being overlooked. You are being prepared for what you ask for. And sometimes, before new doors open, old doors must fully close. That's why you may feel a sense of loss or confusion. That's why people may fall away or plans may crumble. It's not a sign that things are falling apart. It's a sign that things are being rearranged for your highest good. Let them go. Bless them. Make peace with what has ended so your hands are open and ready to receive what's next. Well, it's also important to remember that not every door looks the way you imagined. Sometimes the new door is disguised as a challenge. Sometimes it arrives in the form of a small whisper inside your heart, asking you to take one small, brave step in a direction you've never gone. Don't dismiss the little nudges. Don't ignore the gentle stirrings in your spirit. That inner guidance is your compass. Trust it. You are being guided to something greater, something higher, something more aligned with who you are becoming. And when it arrives, you'll realize why the other doors had to remain shut, why the timing had to be delayed, why the path was winding instead of straight. You'll see that nothing was wasted. Not your tears, not your waiting, not your wondering. It all had purpose. Even now, as you read these words, new doors are being prepared. People are thinking of you who haven't yet met you. Opportunities are being written with your name on them. Solutions are forming to problems that you haven't even encountered yet. This is how the universe works, with elegance, intention, and grace. Quietly, powerfully, and perfectly touched. Your role is to remain open, to stay in alignment with peace and trust, to release the urge to force things and instead allow things. You don't have to chase, you don't have to beg. What is meant for you will find you when you are ready, not when you're striving, but when you're receiving. New doors don't require you to break yourself down trying to open them. They open with ease when you are in harmony with yourself. So breathe, ground yourself in the present moment. Speak kindly to your heart. Remind yourself daily, even if I can't see it yet, new doors are opening for me. I am safe. I am guided. I am ready. The unknown can feel uncomfortable, but it's also where the most beautiful transformations occur. Don't fear what you can't see. Trust that behind every delay, every detour, and every disappointment, something better is unfolding. You don't have to know how, you only need to know who you are. And you are someone worthy of miracles, love, and fresh beginnings. Let yourself believe again. Let yourself expect again. Let yourself dream bigger than the closed doors of the past. Because you are not meant to stay where you are meant to rise, to evolve, and to walk through doors that lead to more joy, more peace, more purpose. New doors are opening. Hold your head high, lift your heart, and walk forward, even if you can't see what's next. Something good is coming. There will be days when your heart feels heavy, when the weight of everything you're carrying feels like too much, and the silence around you makes you question whether anyone truly sees what you're going through. It's in these quiet, aching moments that the lie of loneliness tries to creep in and convince you that you're all on your own. But you are not. Not ever. Even when no one calls to check in, even when your struggles go unnoticed by the world, you are not alone. You are wrapped in the gentle presence of something far greater than human understanding. A divine force walks beside you, holds you, and sees all that you keep hidden behind your smile. Whether you call it God, the universe, source, or love, it is always with you, constant, steady, unchanging. Your journey is unique, and yes, sometimes it feels isolating. You may look around and feel as though everyone else has it easier or more figured out, but comparison is a distraction from truth. Every soul walking this earth carries their own unseen battles, silent doubts, and quiet heartbreaks. No one is without struggle, but the beauty is this: even in our most personal battles, we are all connected in our need for healing, hope, and peace. It's okay to feel tired. It's okay to feel like you've had enough. These feelings don't make you weak. They make you human. The strength isn't in always being cheerful or always knowing what to do. The strength is in continuing, in getting out of bed when you'd rather hide, in choosing love even when bitterness feels easier. Strength is showing up for yourself when you feel like no one else is showing up for you. But here's what's also true. Just because people don't always say the right things or show up in the right ways doesn't mean your pain is invisible. There are quiet prayers being said for you that you'll never hear. There are people who look up to you and draw strength from your light, even if they've never told you. And more than that, the universe itself is conspiring for your healing. Every step you take is supported. Every breath is cradled in compassion. Every moment you feel like giving up is met with unseen grace whispering, "Keep going. You're not alone." Sometimes the connection we long for comes not from the outside, but from turning inward. Sit with yourself. Hold your heart with gentleness. Speak softly to the wounded parts of your soul. You are worthy of your own care. You're deserving of your own love. When you learn to befriend yourself, to comfort and encourage your own spirit, you become a sanctuary, a safe place, not just for others, but for you. It's also okay to ask for help, to admit that you need support. There is nothing shameful about leaning on others. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is the doorway to real connection. There are people, maybe not loud, maybe not obvious, but people who will walk with you, who will sit in the silence with you, who will remind you of your light when you've forgotten it. Let them in when they show up. And while you walk through your own challenges, remember this too. You are a light for others, even when you're struggling, even when you're unsure. Your presence brings something valuable to this world. The kindness you offer, the smile you give to a stranger, the courage you show simply by continuing, all of it matters. All of it adds to the great healing taking place in this world. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to walk this journey with unshakable certainty. You only need to keep going, to keep believing that you are held, supported, and deeply loved. One day you'll look back and see how you were never abandoned, how every step was guided, how even in the silence you were surrounded by love. So when the days get hard, return to this truth. You are not alone. You never were. The path may feel uncertain, but you are walking it with invisible hands, steadying you, lifting you, and leading you. Even when the road is dark, there is a light inside you that never goes out. Let that light be your guide. Let your heart know that it's safe to trust again, and let your soul rest in the truth that it is deeply, endlessly supported, now and always. Would you like this as a calming audio script or turned into a short morning reflection? We often think of restoration as getting back what was lost, as if life simply returns to the way it once was. But true restoration is never just about going back. It's about rising higher. It's about becoming new. Restoration is also transformation. It doesn't return you to your past, it reshapes you for your future. And in this sacred process, you are not only healed, you are reborn. When you lose something, a relationship, a dream, your sense of self, it can feel like the ground beneath you has disappeared. There's grief, confusion, and sometimes anger. You may wonder why it happened or if it could have been prevented. But life is not about holding on to everything. It's about evolving, shedding, becoming. What leaves is not meant to define your worth. What's taken away is often the space needed for something more aligned to take root. In this light, restoration is not just a return, it's a recreation. It's the universe saying, I see the pain you've carried, and I will not only heal it, I will turn it into power. I will take your broken pieces and shape them into something stronger, more beautiful, more whole than before. But for this transformation to happen, you must be willing to surrender to it, to trust that something better is being formed in the unseen. Transformation begins in the quiet places. It begins in the stillness after the storm, when everything seems lost. That's when your soul starts to speak. That's when old patterns begin to fall away and new wisdom begins to rise. You begin to notice things differently. You start treating yourself with more kindness. You begin to value peace over approval, purpose over perfection, growth over comfort. These are signs of transformation, and they are miracles in motion. The truth is, you are not the same person you were before the pain, and that's a good thing. Life's trials are not meant to destroy you, they are meant to expand you. They soften your heart while strengthening your spirit. They help you see more clearly what matters and what does not. They awaken in you a deeper sense of compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. Restoration, then, is not just about retrieving what was lost. It's about discovering what you never knew you had. Inner strength, clarity, a new sense of direction, a divine resilience that cannot be shaken. Sometimes the blessing is not in what returns to you, but in what awakens within you. You may find that the things you once chased no longer satisfy you. The people who once held your attention no longer align with your energy. That is not loss, that is elevation. You are rising above what once kept you small. You are healing past wounds, not just by covering them, but by turning them into wisdom. You are becoming someone who no longer begs for love, but radiates it. Not someone who waits for life to happen, but someone who walks with purpose into the unknown. But this is the power of transformation. It doesn't always come with loud announcements or grand gestures. Often it arrives silently in the way you no longer tolerate chaos, in the way you choose rest over rushing, in the way you say no to what drains you and yes to what heals you. These shifts, though quiet, are the seeds of your new life. So if you're still waiting for things to be restored, be patient. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. The universe is not just replacing what was lost, it's refining you for what's to come. And what's coming is far greater than what you had before. Don't expect to go back, expect to move forward, stronger, freer, wiser. Honor the process. Embrace the transformation. Let yourself feel all that you need to feel, but don't let the past hold you hostage. Your story doesn't end in loss. It continues in the richness of what is being rebuilt, and you are not alone in this journey. The same divine force that allowed something to break is the one guiding you through the rebuilding. With love, with intention, with perfect timing. Keep trusting, keep walking, keep believing that every tear watered something beautiful. Restoration is not just the return of what was, it is the unveiling of who you truly are. And that, more than anything, is worth the wait. Would you like a companion affirmation script or visual quote card to go with this message?